So space, night, death, darkness, not being there is an essential component of being there. You don't have the one without the other. That's the way being is made up.
Greetings everyone and welcome to SpaceWeek Live for this Sunday, November 21st, 2021. So, welcome, and I wanted to start out with some SpaceX and NASA swag. I ordered a shipment of goodies, and I wanted to go ahead and unbox it for you. I'll start with the NASA. Actually, I don't think I need that way. This one is perforated. I'll cut it anyway. Let's see if I can do this without injuring myself. It's very rubbery. So, someone in the chat mentioned mission patches. And so I thought it would be cool to accumulate the SpaceX mission patches, and you can buy them on not the satellite or cargo missions, but the manned missions. So I ordered these little stickers. We've got let's see, we've got DM1. You can also order the patches, the iron-on patches, but yeah. So there's DM1. I'm sorry, not DM1, that's Crew 1. Crew 2. And this is the coolest one, Crew 3. You can see the number 3 and the flames of the Crew Dragon there. I also have a DM2 patch a DM2 decal that's on order from Amazon because that one was out of stock on the NASA website. So here we have a box. Let's see what's in it. This is from SpaceX. So why did I order this stuff? I don't know, because I'm a fan of space. Why are we here? Okay. Ah, yes. So here's the, so we have actually more than one type of, or more than one design of patch for each mission. This is the SpaceX Crew 2 patch, but you saw the NASA Crew 2 patch, or Crew 2 decal earlier. It was a different design. This is an actual patch. We have an official, I'll set this down so it doesn't fall down. We have an official SpaceX Starman t-shirt. This is from SpaceX. So we all know this and love it. There, I'll litter my chair. So I myself am a subscriber to Starlink, SpaceX's satellite internet service that they've been launching satellites for the past couple of years. And this is a really nice, you know what, I'm going to swap my hat. This is a really nice Starlink cap. And it has a really premium feel to it, which is good because the SpaceX merch shop stuff is not cheap. They you know, I guess that's like their bake sale. They raise funds for rocket launches from selling Starlink caps. But I was excited to get this because I actually use that service. My Dishy McDish face or Dishy McFlat face is outside. So here we have, oops, just dropped it. Here we have, what is this? This is a Starlink t-shirt. It is really heavy material. It's like thick, durable material. So it's got a little Starlink breast logo on the front, and or on the front breast, whatever. And this is an orbit graphic on the back. That is a Starlink t-shirt. And finally, we have a little box in the box, and I honestly don't even remember. Oh yeah, oh, this is going to be cool. Okay, so I had forgotten what this was, but what it is now again, this is SpaceX merch. I'm not plugging my own stuff here. This is their stuff. I'll plug SpaceX all day. This is a, got to be careful because this one's breakable, is a color changing, okay, so on the back it's got SpaceX logo. It's a beautiful black mug, but here we have a very red Mars, and this is a color changing mug. Once you fill it up with hot liquid, let's see if it, no, it doesn't respond to my finger heat. I'm not that hot, I guess. But once you fill it up with hot liquid, Mars turns into a green and blue Mars, like it's got, you know, it's been terraformed. So I'm looking forward to using this in future streams. Very nice mug. Okay, so that's my my SpaceX swag for the day. All right, so let's get into the news of the past week. So last Tuesday, a solid-fueled Arianespace Vega launched 3 Ceres Signals Intelligence satellites from the ESA's spaceport in French Guiana, South America. Let's check it out.
Allumage P80 et décollage. 5, nominal, le guidage est nominal. Paramètres bord sont normaux.
These are impressive images.
Terribly impressive. I don't speak French, but I did understand nominal. So the launch went off without a hitch. And they had a great view. There in the northern Amazon, they often have clouds that obscure the launches a few moments after the liftoff, but they had nice. I mean, there were clouds, but their view of the rocket was nice and clear all the way up. So congratulations to Arianespace. Then Wednesday, a Rocket Lab Electron launched satellites 10 and 11 for Black Sky Global's Earth observation constellation in a mission dubbed Love at First Insight. Let's check it out.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Confirm liftoff.
Sorry for headphones users. I had to boost the sound for Arianespace, but I forgot that Rocket Lab goes nuclear when they launch. It's a small rocket, but I guess the microphones are just nearby. But yep. So this time they successfully recovered the Electron first stage booster, which descended beneath parachutes and splashed down in the South Pacific. It looks to be in good shape, which we can see here. Though one Twitter commenter pointed out that Rocket Lab has not yet provided photos of the business end of any of their splashed down boosters, the bottom of the rocket which actually impacts the water. Hopefully they don't get too beat up, though the point could become moot if they perfect their aerial catch recovery technique. For the first time, they deployed a helicopter ahead of the launch so that it could monitor the booster's descent and test their communication systems. The aerial catch, they did not attempt to catch it this time, but the aerial catch attempt will come on a future flight. Then, on Friday, there was an almost total lunar eclipse. For those of you who were awake and could see it, it was the longest partial lunar eclipse since the 15th century. Honestly, though, that number doesn't really have a practical impact on the viewing of the event because we're only talking about a difference of seconds or minutes amidst 4 hours of eclipse. In this photo from Robert Hall, we see the almost totality. And the first time I realized, or was told, or whatever, that the reason a total lunar eclipse or an almost total lunar eclipse is red is because the light from all the sunsets in the world, at the sunsets and sunrises in the world at the same time, are being refracted through the atmosphere and cast upon the moon. That really blew my mind. It's just an amazing thought that basically the Earth is a sunset and sunrise spotlight, illuminating the moon in red because the red wavelengths are able to refract around the Earth's atmosphere, whereas the blue wavelengths get scattered all over the place. All right. Then Saturday, just 5 short years after the company was formed, Astra Space made history as it joined the exclusive club of organizations who have successfully launched rockets into orbit. They finally found an opening in the unforgiving Kodiak Island, Alaska weather, and launched their Rocket 3 vehicle with a non-deployable test payload for the U.S. Space Force. to an altitude of 500 kilometers at their targeted 86.0 degree inclination and an orbital speed of 7.61 kilometers per second, or 17,023 miles per hour. Let's check it out.
15. Water on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. First motion. Running. First motion. Vehicle is clear of the tower.
LV0007 has cleared the pad and is on its way to space. Our next objective is Max Q.
If you recall the previous time, jeez Louise. If you recall the previous launch attempt, the rocket sort of power slid sideways rather before it started ascending. But yeah, that one was aborted. Let's see here. We've got some views from some not entirely useful views from the rocket, and lots of speeches.
Was here shortly.
Oh, we see one of the Rutherford engines there glowing. Happily glowing. Okay, so congratulations to Astra. That's a big milestone for them. And I mean, it has been a long road, but it's been a fairly quick road because, I mean, they have suffered, you know, setbacks and failures, but again, the company was only formed 5 years ago. So from zero to orbit in 5 years is quite impressive. There are companies that are, you know, many times that age, Blue Origin, that have not yet achieved orbit. All right. So let's see what's next. Oh yes. I wanted to revisit the foggy Starlink launch from 2 Saturdays ago. I published a highlight video which included the launch in AI interpolated slow motion, and I wanted to show that portion of the video for you here. You can check out the full video on my channel, but I just thought that with the fog and the slow motion, it was just really amazing. Let's check it out. So this is from 2 Saturdays ago.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So, this video is actually looking a little bit choppy. So, with that, I will go ahead and segue to the other thing I did this week, which was, let me go full screen, which was, let's see, you know what, I can pull it up on Discord. What did I do? Ah, yes. Okay, so SpaceX and some other, well, SpaceX is the only one I'm aware of, but anyway, there are launch streams that are available in 4K resolution. So thus far, I've always streamed in 1080p. Now, NASA only streams in 720p, and but SpaceX actually streams in 4K for many of their launches. So I wanted to upgrade my coverage of those launches to 4K But in order to do that, I had to get a 4K secondary monitor. Now my main monitor is 4K, but when I restream launches and whatnot, those videos are located on a secondary monitor. So I went ahead and I ordered a 4K monitor as my secondary, and I also ordered a really cool dual monitor mount that I have bolted to my desk, which I will show you here momentarily once I figure out what I'm doing. Original, copy image address. Here we go. So you can see here the dual monitor mount. I really love it. It's got like what is it? Gas spring mechanisms that let me adjust the positions of the monitors, the height, the orientation, the tilt. But in any case, it's much nicer than simply having the monitors sitting statically on the desk. It also clears up the area under the monitors so that I can you know, put stuff under there, and also so that it's not doesn't look so cluttered. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you because I think that my Vivaldi browser window may be having some lag issues because of the extra resolution, the 4K instead of the 1080p. I mean, my computer can handle it. It's a very powerful computer, but I think Vivaldi is being kind of weird. I need to make sure that hardware acceleration is functioning like it should. But in any case, back to SpaceWeek. Looking ahead to this week, if we pull up my calendar, on Monday, November 22nd at 6:50 p.m. Eastern, 2350 UTC, a Chinese Long March 2C will launch an unknown payload into an unspecified orbit. There, of course, will not be a live stream. Then Wednesday's a busy one with no less than 4 launches. At 1:21 a.m. Eastern, 0621 UTC, see, I'm switching from GMT to UTC because UTC is the sort of the correct term, even though GMT is the same time. UTC is actually technically the correct term for universal time that is used in space operations. So, in any case, at 1:21 a.m. Eastern, 0621 UTC, a SpaceX Falcon 9 will launch DART, the Double Asteroid Redirection Test. Now, if we look at this graphic here, DART is a solar system mission, very cool one. You may recall the movie Armageddon, where Bruce Willis deflected, actually he didn't deflect, he blew up an asteroid, a Texas-sized asteroid that was threatening the Earth. But something that large we would see many years ahead of time, despite it being a quote-unquote big-ass sky, as the one guy said. But DART is a test to assess our ability to change the trajectory of an asteroid. So there's an asteroid out there called Didymos, and it actually has a satellite asteroid, a very small companion that I don't even recall the name. The name isn't usually mentioned, but it's the child satellite of Didymos. It's basically a moon of the asteroid. And so what DART will be doing is physically plowing into this little moon asteroid, which is like maybe a few dozens of feet in diameter. It's a small rock, but the intention is to assess our ability to deflect the trajectory of asteroids in order to avoid a potential future Earth collision if Now, there are not currently any asteroids threatening Earth that we are aware of. There's Apophis, which will be passing by very close, but it's not going to be hitting us. But nonetheless, Earth defense is exceedingly important, and it's good to see some actual practical headway on a mission toward that end, toward the end of preventing our end, or at least preventing potential risk to humans, even if it's just localized, like a Chelyabinsk sort of thing. Now, I think this little asteroid moon might actually be smaller than the Chelyabinsk meteor, which was, I think, 60-some feet in diameter. But yeah, so that is cool and exciting. I love solar system missions. Always rooting for the solar system. Then at 8:06 a.m. Eastern, 13:06 UTC, a Russian Soyuz rocket will launch the Prishal module to the ISS. Prishal, or Uzlovoy, will attach to the new Nauka science module and act as a docking port for visiting Russian vehicles. The last mile, as it were, the last mile delivery, will be handled by a modified Russian Progress vehicle, which will ferry Prishal to the station. That must be a Progress that they currently have docked to the station, because I'm not aware of any Progress launches. So that modified Russian Progress must be the one, or one of the ones that's already on the station. I think there's just one currently. A short time later, at 11:15 a.m. Eastern, 16:15 UTC, a Chinese Long March 3 will launch ChinaSat 6D, a military communications satellite. No live coverage, of course. Then, at 8:09 p.m. Eastern, 01:09 UTC, a Soyuz rocket will launch the EKS-5, or Tundra-5, Russian early warning satellite into a Molniya orbit, which is a unique elongated orbit that's tailored for Russia's high latitude. Now you can see some orbit graphics here showing the Molniya orbits from different angles, and it is really confusing. I swear, orbits are very confusing when you look at them from different angles. But yeah, so Molniya is for Russia, just like the quasi-zenith orbit is for Japan. Let's see. Additionally, Wednesday marks the 52nd anniversary of the splashdown of Apollo 12, with Pete Conrad, Richard Gordon, and Alan Bean. Then on Friday, November 26th at 09:30 Eastern, 14:30 UTC, begins live coverage of the rendezvous and docking of the Prishal ISS module. So that's the Prishal that launched on Wednesday. It's taking a couple days to get there, but the coverage for that is on Friday. Then, and that caption, where it says launch scheduled, that's docking scheduled. That's a typo. I need to fix that. All right. Later that day, possibly later that day, at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight UTC on the 27th, Electron will be launching another pair of Black Sky Global satellites in a mission designated a Data with Destiny. This mission was delayed, like most others, due to COVID and other things. But this will be a very fast turnaround. If you recall, Electron just launched a pair of Black Sky satellites a few days ago, and they're going to be launching another pair this next Friday, which is pretty cool. So that is it for the coming week. I would like to thank and welcome... Whoopsie. I would like to thank and welcome our newest Patreon supporter, Tyg Rahof, a longtime regular and supporter of the channel, but now a Patreon, which, if you're not familiar, is a website that lets you financially support content creators, artists, people like that, in a platform that's outside of, like, it's not affiliated with YouTube, and it's not subject to YouTube's egregious cut that they take from all profits. YouTube takes 30% of everything, of advertising revenue and membership dues and everything else. So I guess they've got to, pay for their algorithm crunching machine somehow. But in any case, so thank you to Tyg Rahof. Let's take a look at your questions. If I can figure out where they are. All right. Okay, what do we got? Today, Mark Desire. I wonder what one of those SpaceX spacesuits costs. Oh, I have no idea. I mean, the development cost of... that's some dramatic lighting. I just noticed myself. Anyway, I've discovered myself. The SpaceX suits are... well, they're in production now, but for quite some time they were in development. Prototypes and development costs are always much higher than production costs. And I have no idea what one of the spacesuits costs, what the internal cost is. Now, the suits are used by NASA for their crew missions, and by Starman, who doesn't pay anything because he's dead, and by not commercial crew, but by civilian passengers such as the Inspiration 4 crew. Now, the paying member of Inspiration 4 was, gosh, I forget his name, but he foot the bill for the mission. So, anyway, he paid for the mission. And so the cost of the suit is wrapped up in the cost of the mission, just like NASA pays on a per-seat basis. For Crew Dragon, the cost of the suits is just wrapped up in that bundle fee. Adrian the Magician asks, excuse me, puberty. Adrian the Magician asks, what is Rawspace's day job? I'm a software developer by trade. So I work for a company writing software. And that's what I do when I'm not doing this. Mark Desire, I wonder from where NASA gets the ideas for all those acronyms. I don't know what it is with government and acronyms, whether it's military or civilian, like NASA's a civilian organization that falls under the executive branch of the government. But they absolutely love acronyms, and government contractors love acronyms too. The Lockheed and Northrop Grummons of the world. But I don't know. So, Russian individual asks, I haven't searched this yet, but wondering, when DART hits an asteroid, would this change the asteroid's orbit so that when it approaches Earth, it passes a safe distance from us? So I don't think I mentioned before, and I should have, neither Apophis nor its moon asteroid are on any sort of trajectory that threaten the Earth. They are, I think they're main belt asteroids. They're not on an Earth intersecting orbit or anywhere near Earth. But what they wanted to do is and they're not going to bump it into an orbit that could potentially ever threaten the Earth. So they're not trying to deflect the asteroid to save us. Excuse me, to save us. They're trying to deflect the asteroid in a very small way to measure the effect. There is a test mission. So, and it's a small test mission. You know, the Apophis moon is a very small asteroid. And in fact, if that asteroid were to enter the Earth's atmosphere, it would probably experience an airburst, you know, break up and explode in the upper atmosphere, and it might be loud. It might shatter windows like Chelyabinsk did, but it isn't likely that it would actually result in any casualties or damage to properties beyond the glass shattering from the shockwave, like Chelyabinsk. But if we can scale the concept of DART to larger vehicles and larger asteroids, then we might potentially be able to save ourselves in a future where we discover an asteroid on a collision course. That's the hope. Tyg Rahof. Was the Chinese space station also threatened by the Russian fiasco? Ah, yes. I didn't mention this in the episode, but I could have dedicated the whole episode to it. If you're not aware, you're probably all aware. If you're not aware, Russia tested an anti-satellite weapon on one of their own defunct satellites in a ridiculously moronic display of bad judgment. And they are getting universally lambasted for the terrible, terrible idea that was this test. Whenever any country does this, and we have done it, but we did it to a very low orbiting satellite that didn't threaten anything else. India's done it, China's done it, all the major space powers have done it. But it's never a good idea, because what happens when you either blow up or ballistically impact and break apart a satellite is you create a cloud. Well, you create an explosion of debris that flies in multiple directions. Like, there are pieces of debris from the Russian satellite orbited at what was it, 450 or 500 kilometers, something like that. But there were pieces of debris that reached all the way up to like 1,000 or even 1,500 kilometers, and down into lower orbits as well. So they basically, it's a shotgun blast to low Earth orbit when you destroy a satellite that creates, you know, debris hazard across a vast, vast area. And why they did this, I don't think they've said, and I don't think they will say, because they're Russia. But it was a horrible idea. And in fact, the crew of the ISS had to sleep in their you know, they had to basically hunker down in their crew vehicles in case, you know, there was an impact on the ISS. And that includes 2 Russian cosmonauts that are on the station as well. So, for whatever reason they did this, shame on them. Nobody should ever destroy a satellite like that. Now, if you want to use a laser or something to, like, I don't know, remotely alter the orbit so that a satellite gets deorbited, or if you want to disable a satellite, you know, with you know, a targeted laser beam or something, okay. But breaking it apart into lots of different pieces is just foolhardy. Especially after both China and India did their tests over the past couple, their, what are they called? ASATs, anti-satellite tests over the past couple of years. You'd think that Russia, well, they bloody well do know better. So I don't know why they did this. All right. Was the Chinese space station also threatened by the Russian fiasco? I would say, I don't specifically know, but I would say yes, because the debris basically spread throughout all low Earth orbit. You know, now the pieces of debris are small and orbit is really, really big, so the chances of impact are small, but going from 0 chance to a not insignificant chance is unforgivable. Let's see, Julian Roberts. If a base will be built on the moon, will there be just one or more, and what are measures for banning weapons of mass destruction? I mean, the space, what are the Space Accords or whatever, the International Space Treaty of 1960, whatever it was, bans. I'm pretty sure that in that treaty is explicit language that bans the militarization of space or the deployment of weapon systems or weapons of mass destruction in space. And those are treaties that all of the major space powers have signed off on. Or that is a treaty that all of the major space powers have signed off on. I believe. Now, I could, you know, I would have to go and look that up to verify that statement, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, I'm not sure about China, but I'm pretty sure that India, and certainly the United States and Russia have signed off on it. But, and, you know, when you break treaties, there are consequences. There are diplomatic consequences, economic consequences. So, you know, if somebody wants to break the rules, then if you mess around, you're going to find out. You know, there will be sanctions and so on. As for whether there will be just one, I suspect not. Because even if there is an international partnership, I mean, Artemis is really the United States' United Statesedness of a moon mission. It's very U.S.-centric, national pride sort of thing. But you know, they're not talking about Artemis like the ISS, which is a very international collaboration. The Artemis is very U.S.-centric. But even if the U.S. were to partner with other international agencies on a moon base, you can pretty well bet that China is going to do their own thing and have their own base, because for political reasons, China is not allowed to play with NASA, like, at all. So, but China is a major space power, and they're not going to sit by and watch everybody else, you know, play with their toys on the moon. They're going to want a piece of that pie as well, that moon pie. No, I want a moon pie. So I suspect that once one organization or once one agency builds a base on the moon, that whether that's China or the United States and international collaborators, that we will see at least a second one within, you know, a number of years. Obviously, development on the moon or developing systems for the moon takes a very long time, but in the long term, we'll see more than one base. Let's see. Oh, Jack Isaacman was the name of the financier of the Inspiration 4 mission. Thank you. Ukrainian, okay? So I saw Cyrillic, so apologies. He's Ukrainian, not Russian. He lives in Dnipro, I guess, Ukraine. All right. So, yeah, Roscosmos says the debris doesn't threaten the ISS. They can say whatever they want, but the trajectory or the debris analysis doesn't lie. Space is hard. Whoopie pie. Whoopie pies and devil dogs. All right. So it looks like that's going to wrap it up for this week. I'm not seeing any more questions. All right. So thank you all for coming. And I hope you are all doing well and hope you have a great week. Keep it raw. And I'll see you in the next video.